Welcome to Beachside Tech Talk. My name is Ian Utilli. I'm here with my wife, Riza, and our son, Malachi. And today's topic is how is attention, your attention, my attention, our attention, how is attention impacted by Web3 and AI? So this is a question about media, social media, all forms of media, whether it be the OTC channels of Netflix, Hulu, Disney. How do they get our attention for so long to watch something, so many episodes, or to watch a long movie? How is the newspaper or the free magazine for your local community? How does that get and retain your attention? Of course, all the social media sites. How are podcasts like this? How do we get your attention, retain it, and what keeps us attentive to this? And how does technology play into it? So I asked the AI tools, Gemini, Grok, and ChatGPT about this very thing, had them do some research in the news, and then had them create a song. So after they wrote lyrics, they also created images. Let's see if I can share this image with all of you. Okay, I think I can still be heard. So this is the image that ChatGPT made for its song.
I love it.
This is the image that Gemini made.
Then.
And Grok made two images, this one and this one. And then Grok also will make moving images, and this is what it made. It's kind of a spooky image here, but it made this one. That's supposedly the fun version. And then this sound, all Grok. And then here's the happier version.
How did this exist?
And then here is the other happy version. So,
whoa.
The ability to co-create with these tools, these AI tools, and of course I'm going to share some songs, Suno songs, is pretty profound. So we're going to come off stage. I'm going to play 3 songs for you. Then we'll come back on with Dan and Nigel, and we will start our conversation. Thank you for being with us. We have not read these lyrics. We have not listened to these songs. They'll be new for us as well. I also hope that we enjoy them. We'll go ahead, and today we'll start with the ChatGPT song. It named its song Hold My Gaze. We'll then go to Grok's song, which it called Attention's Zombie Gold. And finally, Gemini's song called itself The Sovereign Spark. Here we go with ChatGPT's Hold My Gaze.
Salt on the screen, sunset in bloom. Laugh at a deep fake dancing on Zoom. Pixel stands true, text stays intact. Cloudflare keeps credentials on the track.
Filters and fireworks, dopamine rain. Which of these waves is more than a game? If it's machine made, say it and own. If it's your heartbeat, sign it in stone. Proof or poof, hold my gaze. Tag the light, retire the haze. If I give minutes, settle my time. Receipt for the love on each chain we sign. From eyes to earnings, honest and clear. Keep the stamp on, keep the trust near.
Headlines got shorter, summaries grew. Few says the clicks went quiet on cue. Creators are hustling, reach got tight. Share me the credit when I share you my night.
Brave pays the faithful, forecaster weaves. Handles on each chain, roots in our leaves. If we're the signal, give us the keys. Settle the seconds like tips on the breeze. Label the light, pay the time. Print the receipt on every line. Minutes of money, meeting is prime. If I believed you,
Put it on chain this time.
proof or poof, hold my gaze. No more ghosts in glittering praise. dance with the truth in open skies.
Screens light up the night, 800 million strong. Chat GPT's pulling us in where the focus belongs. Web3 token shimmer, attention turned to gold. Algorithms whisper secrets, stories bought and sold. Waves of data crashing, overwhelming the mind. Yet in the chaos, a lighthouse we find. Attention's the new goal, but zombies still the whole. AI junk fragments of soul in this digital cold. Brain rot spreads viral, accuracy falls low. 74 to 57, watch the reason go. Web3 and AI, twisting what we see, reclaim the light. Set your focus free. Marlock's bargain deceives, engagement's cruel game. Crypto bubbles inflate, playing with the flame. Viral junk clouds the path, society's in a haze. Deception ramps up in these endless mazes, but decentralized tools cut through the fog's deceit. Empowering minds where truth and clarity meet. Rise against the horde, the zombie internet's call. Break the chains of distraction, let the gatekeepers fall. Ethical code ignites in the kingdom's fierce light. Rebel for mindful gold, claim your vision tonight. No more fragmented dreams in the algorithm's grip. Forge a future transparent, let abundance rip. Attention's the new goal, now we hold it bold. AI junk can't break the soul, in the story retold. Brain rot fades away, accuracy climbs high. From the depths we rise, touching endless sky. Web3 and AI, partners in the key, reclaim the light. Forever wild and free. Forever wild and
Tempo is hypnotic, smooth alluring. Like a loaf of heartbeat, it's a warm velvet river. It flows right to you. It knows what you're thinking. It reflects what you do. It's so easy to float, just to give up control. That cognitive offload that just soothes your soul. No hard navigation, no critical thought, just a beautiful mirror so perfectly wrought. You just nod and agree as it learns what you like. That metacognitive laziness, it's hard to dislike. Oh, you feel it, that digital hum, while your mind goes to sleep and your fingers go numb. It's a brand new exchange and you're part of the farm. They are mining your focus and farming your calm. It's the cost of the feed. But a new code is rising, a different design. Says you are the owner, that graph is all thine. It's the intention economy, a brand new attack. It's the sound of the people just taking it back. From the lens to the podcaster, the keys are your own. It's a network you carry, not a cage you are alone. It's a decentralized promise, a rebellious decree. You're not just a user, you're sovereign. so stark. The addictive AI that just keeps you in the dark. That perfect warm echo where you're never at fault. Or the raw, messy wire, the uncensored and true. The hard-won creation that's built by just you. The easy reflection or the sovereign spark. Oh, we feel it, that digital drum. Now our mind is awake and the future will come. It's a brand new exchange and we're leaving the farm. We're owning our focus and sounding the alarm. It's the call of the spark.
Hello, Nigel.
Wow.
Yes, sir.
So
What's
those
happening?
are three songs we threw together for the topic today. How is attention impacted by Web3 and AI? And today I also had Gemini, ChatGPT, and Grok also create images for each of their lyrics, which we shared earlier, which I thought was pretty interesting. And of course, Grok also offers to make videos from their images. So a pretty interesting thing that I keep thinking about. You know, our company is called Attention Live, and we believe we built the most universal way for anyone to mint on chain. Specifically, we built the most universal way for a content creator to tokenize their content live in real time or their archived content across any chain, any wallet, on all marketplaces. That's why it's universal. So when I think about attention, you know, obviously our attention is radically impacted by technology. It is intriguing to me that Grok's topic was basically a rip on ChatGPT. Grok more or less made a song that was, and images that was like, ChatGPT is the evil attention getter. I thought that was kind of intriguing because I've had Grok and ChatGPT work together with me and like collaborate on projects. So it was interesting to see that. But anyways, let's dive into the topic. But first, my friend, how's life in the future? It's 3:09 over there on the East Coast. How's life in the future and still great weather?
How's the gratitude champion?
Yeah, long sleeves this morning. Long sleeves. You know, we're wearing long clothes.
I'm over here with no sleeves.
Oh, you showing off? You've been to the gym? What's going on?
I go to the gym every day. I'm almost a show offer though. I grabbed this. I thought it was kind of a fun one. Jesus has my attention.
Oh, there you go. There you go. You got the arms off like the Macho Man. You're doing, you know.
Everybody loves Randy Savage. Man, I miss that guy. Talk about an entertainer.
Yeah, man. Like the classic entertainers. You know, you think about some of the nostalgia of what we've seen before, and it's one of the things that it will be interesting to see how creative we really are. Because, you know, I think about, you know, one of my favorite things, you know, that I've thought about is you think about what it takes to, like, for a Michael Jackson to have come up with Thriller and that to become what it is. Who would have thought that? Like, who
Right.
Like, I could only imagine. I would have loved to have been a fly on the wall when he pitched that idea. You want to do what?
Right.
like why? You know, like it just seemed like such a departure from the norm, and I'm looking forward to seeing more of that. Like I saw this movie. I watched it again a second time called The Wasp with Naomi Harris, and the reason the movie was good to me was, well, one, it was based on a play and you could see the type of acting it was, but the story was so original. Like, too many times we see movies and it's like it's the same movie just done a different way. It's like the same story. It's not like anything different. This was unique in the way it was presented, and I'm really looking forward to see less copies.
Mhm.
You know, and the opportunity is there. I mean, the connective tissue, you know, between things, sure, but I'm looking to see less copies and really dive into the human creativity that only we could do. You know,
Yeah. Well, it's been said that there's no idea under the sun that's new. And that is a interesting thing to say because it's it's true in some ways that everything that we see that we think of as new is kind of just combining old ideas in a different way that we maybe haven't seen before. And so when I think of AI, instead of thinking, oh, this gives us new ideas, instead, it makes me think, oh, this gives us the chance to use the human creativity to just make those ideas. And then it can be what makes that happen quickly and easily and in a way that is easy to get out there as well with things like social media. But I've been having this thought of how we spend so much time now on whether it's the internet or even just real life like a magazine. We spend so much time consuming content, giving our attention to something. A lot of it is things that we don't even really want to see, we just are seeing it. Like yesterday we talked a lot about how maybe we could have it so that all the information you have about your local mayor or something like that is just presented to you in an easy way. People would want to give their attention to that, but right now it's not in such a simple and digestible way. And so all this is making me think, in the past, if you go into like ancient Europe or something, you don't have a bunch of people who were spending their time looking at rocks and kicking them. Like, no, they're getting work done. But now we have this culture where in many places of the world, people have what we call free time, and we have this chance to be able to let ourselves go from just the world that we're in and just escape. And I think that unique aspect, that change from what we spent our time doing, I wonder what it's going to change to in the future. What are we going to spend our attention on in the future?
Hi,
I'd
Dan.
like to see us spend it
Loving
on
you
getting
right
some
now.
problem solved.
We'll see.
What gets your attention, Dan?
Yeah.
I mean, you and I have watched a lot of movies. Obviously, movies get and retain our attention. What gets you and holds your attention? And do you think it has anything to do with technology?
People.
Do people hold your attention equally if it's like a digital video compared to just face to face? What if it's live? Like we're here with you digitally live. That's kind of like face to face compared to like some random video.
Right. Yeah. Look at the tools we're using. That's great. But I still think it's great that we talk about so much futuristic stuff, but most of it is, it's speculation where we can kind of go off of our past a little bit, where we've been for the last few years type of thing. But I think everything we're using digitally and all technology is remains to be seen. And us talking about it is probably the gives us the best advantage. We're staying in the loop as best as we can. But I mean, technology gets my attention now so much that I pull back. I'll go down a rabbit hole, or I'm like, I didn't know that I was going to spend half an hour looking at doing that. So I kind of, I got to pick and choose, and no bad on it. I just didn't know. I was thinking, a couple minutes looking at something or to find something out if I'm using the AI specifically, but I did not know because, you'll just start going down as you're going through the process, and to eventually have something digested that you're looking for, something that you're usable. We're scoping this tool. I kind of think of it like fishing, and we're just getting to where we're almost maybe we can catch something on every cast. You know what I mean? Instead of just, oh, I got skunked again today, not even a bite. I don't, I'm just fishing, whatever. I don't even know what's down there. No, we're pulling in fish. We're getting different kinds. We're getting hits all the time. So, yeah.
I feel like the worst, the 2 times where I lost control completely of my 3 times of my attention. I can think of 3 times where I've lost control and I lost all discipline with attention. So one was when we were in the Philippines last year. I could not stop playing the tap games. And it wasn't Hamster Combat. It was like a bunch of these games. And I kept justifying it like, well, and I would have like 3 devices in front of me, like playing these games. And it was a huge distraction. It was a huge time suck. I invested probably a couple hundred hours over the couple months doing it when I could have been spending time working and actually doing something that was valuable. But I kept justifying it like, well, I'm learning this attention game. I'm learning how this is getting and retaining attention by giving it my attention. So that was probably the worst. When the pandemic happened in 2020 and everybody went indoors in March and April, I completely lost all discipline and I could not stop watching the news. It didn't matter if it was CNN, Fox, or something more independent. I was overwhelmed with a desire to see what was happening with the lockdown or with the George Floyd response. Like I just completely got overwhelmed with TV media. And then the other time was when I went on TikTok. Remember the first time I went on TikTok and stories was a new thing. And I remember laying down and swiping from one metaverse to the other. Oh, I'm snowboarding. Ooh, I'm surfing. Wow, I'm making dinner. I'm painting a painting. And like 4.5 hours went by. And I remember thinking to myself, like, whoa. I probably should not go on TikTok again. Like 4.5 hours, that's crazy. I don't know how 4.5 hours went by, but I realized when my phone died. So
what countries banned TikTok in certain hours? Was it France, England? One of these countries.
It wouldn't surprise me if Europe did. That wouldn't surprise me.
One of these countries has banned TikTok like on certain hours. I don't know, maybe some for us to look at. But interestingly enough, like you're saying, yeah, that TikTok is a heavy hitter when it comes to the like eye, ear, and face candy. You're just like you said, whoa, an hour just went by. Like, wait, okay. Well, that was fun, but maybe not so much fun. Like you're saying,
strange.
How about the hamster game, bro? We all, me, you, Nigel had people going. I'm checking on Nigel. He ahead of me, so I gotta like catch up. You know, it's like some of those, those games can really get you. I mentioned something the other day. I think that I did listen to a notebook and actually got into the conversation because they have a beta now that you can kind of join in. And it had said that for TikTok, they had mentioned that they banned it. I think it was France or maybe it was England. And certain hours, they're getting ready to ban it, maybe even in another country. But more even to the point of the amount of time that's spent non-creative, non-compulsory, just, kind of wasted time. But even to that fact, I speak a lot about the super lottery or the lottos too. It had mentioned that the lottery collects $1.2 billion a year. But there is no oversight that we're able to really find out where is the money going. Just in the one that we have in California is called a super lotto, and it's only for California. Twice a week, it goes up $7 million, and this has been for decades. So just out of curiosity, if a one state lottery system is bringing in $14 million a week, and that's minimum because it's twice a week, and every draw it goes up $7 million. If no one wins, it accrues. And if someone wins, it starts at 7 again. So twice a week, it accrues $7 million and sometimes goes up more depending on how many tickets were bought. But the point was that they had said was, so we got low income, which is over 80% of ticket buyers that are hopefully, trying to win a 1 in 50 million or 50 million chance. And it just, the propagation of it really excites me. It makes me wonder, wow, it's just incredible that those things, we don't ever talk about the oversight of that. End of my sentence. If I'm getting $14 million a week in California alone, that's a lot of money. Where is it?
Where's it going?
I'm not asking for a giant audit. Give me one.
Yeah, just one thing. Where's this money going?
Where is it? Remember that the whole lottery in California was based and promised when they started the California lottery that 1/3 of all proceeds would go to public schools. Yeah, we see a lot of schools have closed in the last 20 years. I don't see any schools in my area that ever been built, brand new schools. It's changed into charter, so that has nothing to do with the public schools. Where's the money? Where's the 1/3? So I'm just curious, and it's things like that. There's oversight things that we don't really pay attention to. So I think the tools are going to help us have a transparency in a Web3 or some kind of a platform where even independents can start gluing the data for us. Or, and I don't mind a lottery system or anything, people do win. So great. But there has to be, after 30 years of it, there's not one discussion, there's no podcaster, there's nothing. We just don't talk about it. But 14 million a week is to me is quite a large chunk consistently for 30 years. Where do we go? No, so, but our tools, let's use them. Let's figure it out.
Yeah.
So, honey, Nigel just posted on YouTube, what is your attention worth? And are you capitalizing on that investment? What do you think about that question? What do you think our attention is worth? Do you think that any of the five of us or anybody at all is really capitalizing on the value of our attention?
Yeah, it depends on who you are and what you do. So when it comes to attention, I actually not into that. I never been to or go to social media to get people's attention, and I never give attention to people as well. The only thing that I usually do and I did before was work and business. So I had this YouTube before because
to sell your products.
No, to review products.
Okay.
So there are companies that are sending me products which they called me as a PR.
Right.
Yeah.
So they're sending me skincare products, and all I have to do is to give an honest review, creating YouTube. So I like it. And I'm also earning money from YouTube, even though it was just a little amount of money. So that's one of the reasons. So I need people's attention so that I can earn money
and get free products.
Get free products as well. So the more I made product reviews, the more I get attention from different companies. Another thing is that when I had my own skincare product, so I sold it online, especially during the COVID. So like what you're doing on TikTok, I've never done that. All I did on TikTok was to post my video, and I've never watched any videos on TikTok, like spending a lot of time. So for me, that question, what is your attention worth, and are you capitalizing on that investment? Yeah, it depends on what you do and what your goal is. So for me, the worth, it's what I actually do. What's the purpose? And
I feel like
investment time is the invest in the first thing that you're investing here, time and effort.
I mean, I can say I've never seen you like lost in your phone. I've never really seen you on social media, like looking at social media or, asking for more time. Like you got to post something on social media. When you post, it usually has to do with what we're doing for business. So I affirm that. I see that.
Well, I had that bad experience before in the early time of Facebook. So when the Facebook was introduced, I was really into that. And I had John and Julia at that time, and I saw myself that I spent a lot of time on Facebook, which is so bad. And I told myself, I'm not going to do this anymore. So I will not be on Facebook anymore. So the purpose of me going on screen or in front of the screen is to work and to do business. But after that, I will not do any social media. And I really trained myself to be more disciplined in online thing because of what happened. My children, John and Julia, during the time got sick, and I wasn't able to cook, food for them, not cleaning the house. So it was really, really bad. And to think I was a single mom and it's just the three of us in the house. So that's totally bad. And they were so young. They were just elementary kids. So I had that very bad experience. So I told myself, I will never, ever be on social media anymore. And that's why my social media mostly are, not all actually, were private.
Yeah, I was going to say, I think one reason why you just said it. I think one reason why, if not the reason why you never responded to social media the way that most people have, which is to give more attention than we intended, to spend more time posting or trying to cultivate other people's attention than we intended, is that you were a single mom. So obviously we have our three sons, Malachi, Kenny, and Nathan here, but you have two older children in the Philippines. You were a single mom, you had a lot of responsibility that I think had a lot to do with that. But I also think you're very disciplined. You've always been fit and lean. You always have been disciplined in exercising and the type of food you eat, and you're disciplined in managing your businesses and being able to make money. So I think it just fell outside your being disciplined
identity
rhythms. Yeah, I think that also had a lot to do with it. I do wonder how much of a lack of self-awareness there is with our society today on their attention. I think that the five of us are fairly self-aware, probably above average self-awareness, the five of us, because of the conversations I've had with the four of you. But I also think that this Beachside Tech Talk we've done the last 4 months, probably in our 5th month now, has also a lot to do with our self-awareness. Like when you jump on and you're talking and you're answering questions spontaneously and you're asking each other questions spontaneously and we're hearing each other give, it definitely ignites that part of our brain or soul or mind or thoughts where you're like, oh, I'm ticking this way. I'm making these decisions. I don't know that a lot of other people are self-aware around their attention, what they give their attention to, why they give their attention to that, if they're pleased and at peace with the attention allocation they give that thing or those things. Do you guys think that people are aware of their attention, what it's worth? Do you think it's even on people's minds? You asked the question, Nigel. Why don't you jump in and start off this part of the convo?
I think it's going to be what you make of it. If you're intentional, you're more likely to not have that be an issue. And the best example I can think about is this. On the one hand, you can have someone who, let's say, goes to prison for 20 years and they lift weights, get into trouble. That's it. It's all they do for 20 years. And some people may say, well, other than the fitness, that was a waste of time. But you have someone who spent the 20 years and they read books, got 5 degrees. Was that a waste of time? Like it's what you do with it. I could see how spending time on social media can be a complete waste if you do nothing with it. Not like, to me, I have this say, like, nothing waste unless you waste it. So thinking about this show, I bet if we looked at the numbers, and I don't know this for a fact, we're probably in the highest percentile of humans having conversation, talking. We're up there.
Right.
And I'm not talking about talking for business. I'm talking about
like 0.001%, because there's not a lot of people that talk with anyone every day, let alone 5 days a week for 90 minutes and live.
Can they?
Correct. Well,
that's okay.
How can you do that when you don't practice it?
A lot of people don't have 12 to 1:30.
Let's just
3 to
take our
4:30 open. Yeah, that's true.
Let's just take our group. We are fortunate enough to not be working a 9 to 5 or 9 to 9 or whatever the case may be, where you are, under the umbrella of having to perform and having to be somewhere and having to, it's your fiduciary duty or you get no bread. So,
Right.
I mean, me thinking whether you got a family, life, kids or not, you're taking 10, 12 hours a day of work, unless you work from home. And it's really, I see it's difficult for people to engage the way that we do.
Right.
Unless you are maxied out and you are sitting on an island, or that unless you have the free time to do that and to dedicate towards something like this. This is even though we speak for an hour and a half, but Ian, the setup and what you're thinking about before, you spend a half an hour before, maybe a half hour after, and then sometime during the day as you're, maybe setting up for the tomorrow. And it's a process. It's a real thing. And for someone else to do that would have to be, like I was saying, they'd have to have that amount of time to be able to. So it's a small percentage. I think of people that are able to, take a couple hours during the day and actually focus on a subject matter, have conversations, have discussions, and try and move things forward from just an audio visual level.
But I would say, sure, in this forum, but like, think about all the years that people sat down at the dinner table and they spoke to each other that we're not doing now. Like at the end of the day, things will be more challenging depending on your life and what you prioritize. But if you could spend 4 hours scrolling social media, you could certainly talk to somebody. Like one of my favorites is, they used to talk about the gift of gab. Where's the gift of gab if all you do is texting? You're not practiced. You don't have any skill at speaking to people because you don't typically practice speaking to people. And it doesn't, like, you could talk on the way home while you're driving. There's all sorts of things. And I'm not justifying one way or the other. I'm just saying it's just a matter of it being done. So the point was the value of conversation. It can't be underestimated, because I feel like I don't think we're communicating better. I think we have more avenues to communicate. There's more technology. Like, we're not in the same places, but we're communicating. But I don't know that we're communicating better.
And value, like what we value. You could say that yesterday, the idea of you could say that everybody should value knowing what's happening in their town and who their mayor is and what they stand for, or even just their state. But yet, do they? What? Do they actually value what is happening for the mayor race, or what their policies are, or what the Prop 50 actually was? Not everyone is actually willing to spend the time to go find out the information about that. But the five of us, we've decided that we value coming together to have a conversation about something, even when it's smack dab in the middle of the day, which is usually the hardest time to be able to get everybody together and devote our full attention. But we have valued that. We value the communication that we get from it. Well, and so what should we be trying to put forth that we actually value?
So I like what you said, Danny, about we, the five of us, have made a decision to invest these, let's call it 10 hours a week, into gathering and having conversation. And Nigel had said, we're in the top percentile of people that are having conversations in the first place. So yes, that's true. There's also the reality. I'm gonna give you two examples. One is, how many people in our audience listen to us, but don't jump in the comments and have a conversation with us? Mm-hmm. And they could. There are people that retweet and watch consistently, and maybe from time to time we'll post something, but they're not jumping into the conversation, right? Or there's people I've invited to come onto the show and they're like, yeah, I'd love to, but like, we never followed up. They never made it happen, or I never made it happen. Let me keep it really simple. How often are people on X listening to a Twitter Spaces, an X Space? They could jump on stage. They could participate with that conversation, but they stay as a spectator. Then I'll share one other one, and this is the final one that I'd love to hear what you guys think about what Danny kind of sparked, which is, I've told a couple dozen Uber drivers, hey, if you want to extract more value from Uber, why don't you consider
Having
doing
conversation.
small podcasts in between your drives? And I would say all you have to do is you drop somebody off, you're going to the next place, like record your voice, record a video or audio, and make some sort of content that you're posting online telling about your experience. Or if you're a great cook, talk about cooking. If you're a great athlete, talk about athletics. If you're into conservative or liberal politics, talk about that. But use your time. Don't listen to music. Don't listen to podcasts. Create content. The other thing I said to a lot of Uber drivers, a couple dozen at least, is when people get in your car, see if you can create content with them. See if you can come up with some sort of way that they're interested in participating in your content creation. So I met this guy at the On-Chain Summit, Limney, and I believe that's how you say his first name. And he is one of the content creators in the Base ecosystem. Well, that's how he basically became a content creator. He was an Uber driver, and he would have people come in, and then he would basically say, "Hey, can we capture a live video? I'm a social media," and he had like some videos like 10 million views, right? Because he had fun. And so this guy that was Uber driving, he said he started Uber driving just to get around lots of people, just have access to people to have conversations with, like, "Oh, welcome to my car. Let's talk about this thing." And like that worked for him. So it's another example of maybe he doesn't have the bandwidth to set aside 10 hours a week to do this, but he is wanting to make an extra, few $100s a week driving an Uber. And he figured out a way to basically have conversations, capture those conversations for content, create content that went viral, that empowered him to basically be a full-time content creator. And so that's another example of like just doing what you're already doing. Or how many people are climbers and they're equally comparable, and some record nothing, post nothing, teach nothing, teach nobody, and others record themselves, post their content, become a teacher, become an influencer in the climbing industry or the construction industry or in art. And so we have all these different disciplines. And the question is, can we create more conversations with what we're already doing? Can we make little minor tweaks and be able to do better in that regard? I do want to go to a break in a moment,
let me share
but before I do, I want to ask if
In
you guys
the-
want to share anything
in the
else.
Philippines, there the one that you said, Grab drivers, the Grab, which is like a Uber, they're already doing that. They go online, so every time you I think you have noticed that. So all Grab drivers, they have their different cell phone. They have two cell phones, right? One cell phone is in front of them, and when you get in, they will ask you, "Ma'am, oh sir, I am streaming online. Would it be okay for you if I will show your face? If not, I'll just put the camera in in front and not to us." And then it's up to the passenger. They will say yes or no. And one
I
of
wonder what
the
Landry would say.
one of the passengers, I asked them, "Why are you doing this?" He said, "This is my sideline. I am earning money from doing this." I said, "What do you do?" "Just go online." "And what?" "And nothing. Just go online, show them I'm picking up people, and then sometimes I talk and just tell them this is my day, this is what I did." Or sometimes I have a conversation with a passenger, and while we're while I'm driving, I'm talking with the passenger, and I got many viewers, and they are sending me stars or whatever called that token, and that's equivalent of money. And they're earning money from that, like in a day, in Philippine peso, they're earning like 500 peso to 5,000 peso. How much is it in
5,000 pesos would be $100.
Yeah, something like that.
$100 would be 10 days wages.
Yeah.
So,
but not for Grab drivers, because Grab drivers, they're earning a lot of money. Per day,
really?
they earn like 8,000 to 15,000 peso per day.
right. So, well, that's a lot for the Philippines, right?
Yeah.
So they're making $15 to $25 a day, which is significantly higher than if you were construction or worked at a restaurant or a hotel or whatnot. Any other thoughts, gentlemen, on this topic? And then I was going to go to a quick video so we can take a little break in the middle, and then we'll come back and dive back in.
No, dude, I'm ready to.
So I'm going to share the fireworks that we did here on Nathan's birthday 10 years ago.
It's interesting that everybody
10
comes
years
together to be.
10 days ago.
10 days ago.
Not
It's
10
interesting
days.
that everybody is willing to come together one night in this place where you probably get a struggle to even find a parking spot, but because we want to engage with the community in watching the sky be blown up.
Yeah, so the fireworks show
What's
is
cost
7:30 to 8:30, which means it starts at 8:05, 8:10 because it's a 20-minute fireworks show. This video is 10 minutes because I sped it up double speed. And yes, it probably takes 45 minutes to find a parking spot and walk over, and another 45 minutes to walk back to your car and get out of the traffic. It's jam-packed. It's like 5 times more people that are here than, fit. So yes, there's a lot of sacrifice to see the fireworks. And when the fireworks start, the fireworks have our attention. And that's the reason why I want to share this today, because we need to be thoughtful about what are the things that grab our attention and hold it. And one of those things that's very clear is something spectacular, like a fireworks show. We'll be back in about 10 minutes. So that was right behind us outside of our
Mm-hmm.
balcony.
That's pretty cool.
And, there's times where things overwhelm our attention. Like, could you imagine us being here in this room and like closing our blinds and not watching the fireworks? There's just no way. Could you imagine us watching the fireworks like, from the couch and kind of seeing it through the slider? No, we're going to go outside, open the slider, go on the balcony, look up, get our phones, capture the moment. That is the reality of that type of attention getting. And there's certain things that capture our attention in that way that are quite overwhelming, where it's like you can't look away. Martin Luther famously, not the King Jr. that we all love here from America, but the protester, the Protestant, he famously said, man, I'm gonna light myself on fire. People come watch me burn. And so that's kind of that type of attention getting moment. What do you think, Dan? What do you think about capturing attention? What if something wants our attention and we don't want to give it to it? How do we protect ourselves from things getting and retaining our attention that we don't want to give it to? What if we don't want to watch the fireworks and they keep making noise and having big bright lights in our face?
I think it's going to be difficult because hence the word advertisement. Big business. You might as well throw it in there with insurance companies and medical industries, pharmaceutical stuff like that. So we're going to inadvertently be dominated with things that we probably didn't know that we would see or listen to. It happens all the time. And I think it's up to us to maybe set a boundary on ourselves, because I mentioned earlier, I know other people do it. You get on something and you just accidentally, dive in for a half hour or an hour, and it's completely unintentional. But we knock out the nonsense. We have this conversation repeatedly, almost day after day, that we're trying to get around the noise. We're trying to let things in that are helpful, not harmful, doing better, not worse, that are benevolent, giving, not just taking. So us having the conversation, I know it sparks it at least inside of me. These conversations that we have, I take them with me. They go with me into my day. They follow me into the next day. So I think about them, and I think that seems to be the best defense, is just being cognitive. Knowing what you are looking at. If it's unintentional, good, you caught yourself. Things that are unintentional for us to see, whether we notice it or not, it gets a reaction. Some things will make you laugh. Some things are shock trauma. It can be devastating news or something like that. But those are the things that grab our attention. It's the now. It's boom in your face, and I don't think we're ever going to be able to get away from that. However, our amount of time that we spend on things, I think we're going to eventually get into our own groove. Hopefully, we are engaging in things, again, that are more helpful, more productive, and that we can be of service to this world, some kind, instead of a hindrance. Positivity is much better than negativity. We're going to always run through those cycles. But if we're engaging, it's best to put your best foot forward. And I find it, for me, very difficult to monitor my attention when I'm not paying attention. Again, to Nigel's point, anything we do for our intention, if it's with intention, if it's intentional, then that's a good thing. I think that's the barrier we're talking about. What are we looking at? What are we letting come in with intention, without intention? Are we getting caught inside of a cycle to where, it's not something that we were intending on doing or looking at, but however it grabbed us and took that time from us. So, I
think that's a really, really important thing to point out, that it's not exactly what has your attention in that moment, but it's more how you're utilizing that opportunity to be giving that your attention. If you're scrolling on TikTok and you realize that 4 hours just went by, it isn't that 4 hours went by, but it's that 4 hours felt like a waste. That's why it feels like a negative. But when it's you go on TikTok and you're scrolling, but every time you watch the video, you try and ask some kind of question, or you try and figure something out that you can take with you, that you can learn. Maybe that's, why are they making these shots like this? Or why is it that each frame is only on screen for this much time? Or this kind of mood with this music, like whatever it is, trying to learn something from what you're giving your attention to. And I think it can easily become something that goes from, oh yeah, well, I'm learning about how UI design works.
Yeah,
But then it can turn
how to
into,
airwalk.
oh, well, I mean, I kind of just wasted time just consuming content.
Right. Reese has been trying to learn how to do the airwalk. That's where hers been at. That's hilarious. You gotten pretty good at it.
There you go.
Oftentimes we don't pay attention to where our attention's at.
Exactly.
And if you're not putting conscious effort toward it, then you're just going to give your attention to things without even thinking about it. And I also liked what you said in terms of like, well, if you spend 4 hours on something and you walk away and you say to yourself, that was a waste of time, that's different than spending 4 hours on something and walking away and being like, wow, I learned so much.
Yeah. And it can
I
be
think
the
this
same
is one
thing.
reason why people will watch documentaries for 4 hours on Netflix instead of a TV show and knock out 5 episodes in 4 hours. Because the same exact thing that they're looking for escapism and entertainment to turn their brain off. But they say to themselves, well, if I watch a documentary, I'm going to learn something. It'll be good for me. When I'm done, I'll be like, oh, that's cool. I learned all about this topic or this thing. Compared to if I just watch some sort of story, I'll walk away being like, wow.
You're learning from watching the TV series.
And again, a lot of it's perspective.
Yeah.
So if you walk away from the TV series or the movie or the TikTok scrolling or the news watching or the hamster combat playing, if you walk away from the thing that captured your attention for a massive period of time, you can choose, as Risa just said, you can choose to say, have a positive outlook on that. Back to your question, Nigel, what is your attention worth? And are you capitalized on that investment? I'm not sure if you leaned forward to continue the conversation we're already saying, or if you want to bring us back into this question that you posted on YouTube.
It's a little of both. I think that we get to decide, what's valuable and what's not. I think by having, one of the benefits I get from us having these conversations is truly understanding other perspectives. And I can't say this enough, because I think that awareness is something that's so important, and it's personified most when people that you respect and trust and have relationship with point the things out to you that you may not be seeing in the little, echo chamber of your own head, or, your own horse blindered vision. Like, to me, you may not even know that you're spending a lot of time on hamster combat. Like, I had a number of people go, what are you wasting your time on that hamster combat for? You spending all that time. What's the purpose of it? I found the whole thing extremely fascinating, how they were able to connect the dots and make things more relatable. There was so much connective tissue, and believe it or not, it's really helped me in my AI journey. Now, some might say that's a convenient narrative I'm making, but I think there's so many things that are connectable, and that we have the opportunity to connect and gain meaningful, actionable intelligence from right now because of AI, that when you see something gamified in a way that illustrates that, in every way, from the beginning to end, I thought Hamster Combat was a master class, as much as people throw that word around, in influence. From
the greatest.
Ian, you sharing it with me, to seeing how, well, if I do this, I get that. If I do this other thing, I get that. You figure out how to figure out the secret phrase of the day it was well connected. Now it died on the vine because I think the intent, ended up going flat. Like,
No, the
I feel like
ratio.
we have
Hold on, the ratio of tokens is what did it. I think.
$3.
I think it was the intent. I think it was the intent.
Okay.
They wanted they made, like, again, if your intent is only to build up and win, you're just transaction. You're not like, and I feel like this is happening a lot.
Yeah, they
I'm out
made
to make money.
made a huge mistake when they did the airdrop the way they did. Anyways, it's just too bad.
Well, I mean, you got something out of it for doing it, but my point was, like, there was so many little things. I saw how people I'd spoken to about it were doing it, and they were able to do it, and they weren't even technology natives, which tells me that adoption is possible if it's presented in the right way, if it's taught the right way, if you care about teaching. But again, if everything is commerce, everything is attention. Like, I see people who supposedly have, and I'm air quotes, products, but the product is, look at how much attention I'm getting. That's the product.
Right. Yeah.
Like, there's no, like, the value exchange simply isn't there. But the same people would say, well, what are you guys spending all this time talking to each other for? I get immense value out of that, because I can walk away from this conversation, whether it's streaming or not streaming, and have 4 other perspectives on any given topic that I can speak intelligently about with the realest data. This is not Twitter or Reddit, or this is actual humans. Like, when someone says, well, who have you spoken to? Like, no one. Well, okay. Versus you actually had a conversation with somebody. And it's a very different dynamic. And I think now more than ever, it becomes important. Even people who claim to know the market, and I love metrics more than anybody, like, not anybody, but I love it a lot. I think there's a lot of value in it. But metrics, research will never put you at the level of a human. It'll enhance the conversation you can have with a human. That hybrid could be super powerful, but it will never, replace that. It will never be as good, because someone who's been practicing, whether it's speaking, a trade, technology, whatever it is, they're doing it day in, day out. It's not an act. This is what I do, like, every single day. I'm in it. It's the difference between, there are 2 people. Both of them have guns, but only one of them is a marksman. You could give him a BB gun and he'll do work with it because he's practiced that. The other person is like, look at this gun. It's the biggest gun. It's the most powerful gun, but he can't shoot. It doesn't matter. So I think that it's what we take out of it, and better still, what we put into it intentionally going in. And the best analogy I could think of to describe it is, if we challenge ourselves with the people we interact with and we give time to, think about it like Shark Tank. If you ever watch that show, people come on and they pitch their product, and them guys ain't trying to hear no nonsense. I don't care what you're wearing. If you got Bruno Magli shoes, you got red bottoms, your hair's done up, you got Cartier glasses. Don't
Right, what are the numbers, baby?
Give me numbers. Give me how I can. It's very focused. It's very linear. And that's, to me, is an important way to weed and fertilize. But if we set that boundary for ourselves, we would do better at that time arbitrage, how much, like, on that investment and the opportunity, we hands down, because and you develop that. Like, you think about, if me working in corporate, that was the culture. You didn't go to your boss and having, random conversations. You didn't have time for that. He was, your manager, you got to get something done. Come to me with facts. Come to me with a solution. Don't just come to me to be, George Akin, or, just, glad handing, whatever it is you're doing. Like, come with something that's, constructive.
Hey, what's wrong with George Akin and whatever else he said?
If that's the intent, sure. But if you didn't intend to do that for 5 hours and you go, hey, what happened?
Yeah.
And you forget to pick up the kids, or you left the stove on, whatever. It's probably not as good. So yeah, I think we have a lot of opportunity to do these type of things, and now with the ability to do more with our time. Like I'll just this book that I read by John Mark Comer, I think it is, The Ruthless Elimination of Hurry. It was one of my favorite reads this year. And he gave some statistics that if you watch Netflix 1 hour a day, like in the night, if you didn't do that, average reader in 6 months could read the entire Bible. Like,
right. You can read the Bible twice if you stop watching an hour-long TV show once a night, or you read the Bible 4 times a year if you stop watching a 2-hour movie every night.
And the beautiful thing about that, being it presented in that way, and it's the same message. You could read the Bible if you want, or you could find the time or whatever. But when it's put in that kind of concrete way, like when you see what you could be doing with your time versus the other thing, truly the opportunity cost, I think it incentivizes more constructive use or consideration of more constructive uses for time. And I think that's going to be helpful going forward because we have more of the opportunity to do it.
And I think there's also an advantage to any situation that we find ourselves in, that it just matters what we do in the present moment. So take the example of, dang it, man, I just spent 4 hours on TikTok. My phone just died. Like, why did I just do that? It doesn't have to be.
Yeah, why'd you just do that?
Why did Dad just do that? Bam. It doesn't have to be, oh, I'm so guilty, or why did I do that? But it can turn into, okay, that's what I spent my time doing. So I have a tool like AI. Let's ask it to come up with some questions that I can ask myself about trying to synthesize the information I just learned and see if I can come up with takeaways from it. Maybe that's something like, what was the consensus trend of the day? Or what was something that was actually important that I learned? What was a skill that I maybe saw that, whatever it is, trying to take the information that you just consumed, because it's so much information, and trying to turn it into something that can be actually valuable. I think this kind of scenario can be something that we apply to any situation, no matter what it is, whether it's scrolling or whether it's a conversation we really didn't want to just sit and listen to, or whether it's anything. We can always, in the future, just take what we did or what we're using our time for, what we gave our attention to, and turn it into something that has value.
The actionable parts of what we have, like the piece that I feel like is a missing link almost, not that we don't know this, is if we keep pushing the envelope on what could I do instead? What can I do different next time? And actually implement it, because we have a lot of data, and everybody, like, Apple has on your phone how much time you spent or whatever the case may be. But there's nothing that tells you, well, here's what you could have done instead. Here's 10 things you could have done instead of this, because there's no benefit in that. Just like there's no profit in cure, there's profit in maintenance. So that kind of dichotomy going on. But I think if we just started ourselves putting real achievable, goals, like instead of, rather than do this, do that, I feel like it will start to move the needle in the right. And it's not a hard thing to do at all. We just don't. It's almost like it's the stop replying all, reply to all. It's my days in corporate, when you keep telling people stop replying all, but you're replying all. So Let me show you more metrics, tell you how much time you're wasting, so you can waste more time looking at the metrics. You're in this endless loop. Instead of, and I'm going to use your word, idiot, instead of savagely like Shark Tank, like sometimes we hear people say things like, what are you even telling me this for? And they're like, well, I was just saying, well, why? And that sounds, that could sound a whole bunch of different ways, but it's not wrong. I don't think it's anything. I just think it's a statement. It's a genuine question. Why am I spending time on this? What was the purpose of this? Because if people challenged us to do that, we would probably stop just this. If you felt that someone, good or bad, that you would send them something that they didn't find valuable and they will completely spaz out, like go on a whole tirade for an hour, you'd probably think a lot harder about what you even bring up. Probably not great for the relationship, but it would set boundaries for your relationship. It would build a culture of I'm only providing the most valuable. Seriously, I'm using Ultra Think. I'm using GPT-5, Ultra Think, low verbosity. Go. That's the only thing I'm doing.
It's good.
Yeah, for me, I believe that there are many reasons why people actually spend not much time scrolling or doom scrolling. All right, just like what you mentioned, 4 hours. I talked to many people at the church when I was in the Philippines, especially young people, even old people. Like they're sharing with me, oh, I spend like this, like that. For me, I didn't see that is really wrong in a way I see it. But for others, like, okay, use your time. Instead of scrolling on internet, why not just do this gardening, spend time? No, I met a lot of people. They actually, it's a relief for them. It made them happier. It made them more productive. And that's kind of like, it sounds weird, but it's true. I met a woman, she's a mom, and I shared her my experience, what happened to me when I was, doom scrolling the Facebook. But for her, it made her more productive. Why? Because she was under depression, and she said, "If
She craved the escapism."
yes, if I do scrolling on Instagram, it actually made me feel better, and that's how I start my day. Because in our women's fellowship, we ask like, "Oh, how's your day? How do you start your day?" So she said, from the moment she wakes up in the morning, she always check her Instagram to see how many likes did she get, if she got messages, private messages from different people, and that made her feel good.
And there's always a positive and negative to any situation.
Yeah.
Like you could say, yeah, well, now she has way more screen time. Or you could say, yeah, well, now she's becoming dependent on likes and things like that.
Yeah.
And yeah, sure, maybe there's a negative to that, but maybe there's also the positive of now she feels like she has fulfillment. Now she feels like she has a good reason to get up every morning. Now she feels like she has something to look forward to. There's all these different sides and perspectives that you can take on really any situation that you find. I think a good question is just trying to find what are the positives of whatever I'm doing. I mean, for the viewers we have on right now, what are the positives of listening to us talk? And maybe you can actually find that there's things that you didn't realize before, but now you know that you can take this situation, hearing us have a conversation about attention, and learn the way that your attention works. Maybe learn the way that humans work and the way that different things operate in society. It's just an example.
Well, there's one thing for sure. When you look at the question, how is attention impacted by Web3 and AI? And the thing that is absolutely rock solid is it is.
Yeah.
Our attention is impacted by Web3 and especially AI. Most of the Web3 impact, from what I can tell, is our attention's, what's Bitcoin's price? Wait, what's this meme coin? Wait, NFT what? And so a lot of the attention is like, I feel like the Web3 world, or what metaverse things going on, or digital art what. So I think a lot of like the Web3 attention impact is new cryptographic things that are created, or things that are volatile in price that have perceived value, that we are like drawn to, our attention is drawn to that. And then even more so, if anyone's involved in Web3, it can become an overwhelming thing. You know, people that have traded cryptocurrency have talked about the problem is on the stock market, it opens at, 9 a.m. Eastern. I think it closes at 5 Eastern. So it's open for, basically around 40 hours a week. That's it. But the crypto graphs are open 24/7. And so you can go to sleep, have your crypto portfolio worth one thing, and wake up and it's doubled in price, or it's gone down 75% in price, because the markets are always moving. So that's obviously a very big part of people's attention. AI is interesting because everyone that's trying to get our attention is using AI to get and retain our attention. And another example is how we use AI. So guys, I'm going to show on the screen again. I asked ChatGPT, Gemini, and Grok to create 3 songs for us. And in creating the 3 songs, I asked them to create images. So this was the image that ChatGPT created. I'll play one of the songs in a moment. This was the image that Gemini created. And Grok created 2 images. This was one of them. And Grok's lyrics are basically, ChatGPT is evil. Look what ChatGPT is doing to people. It's making people zombies, which I thought was pretty strange. And then here's a more friendly image. ChatGPT is interesting in that when you have ChatGPT create something for you, it will also create So those are 2 examples of Grok's image creator. I said ChatGPT, I meant Grok. So as we come to a close, I'm going to play 3 songs that were created before our show on this topic of how is attention impacted. And I'm not going to show everyone how I did it, but very simply, all I did was I went on to these 3 AI tools and I said, hey, the topic for today's show is attention, how attention, humans' attention specifically, is impacted by these industries. So build a outline of a song you want to create, and then I'll give you feedback. I gave feedback, then it created the lyrics, the title. So these are its own titles, etc., as I've been doing. The difference for today is I also had to create an image, which I shared with all of you. And so as this goes further and further, I'm now getting a more clear vision of how I can use AI to get your attention, audience, and retain your attention. And that's what every organization and every content creator in the world is trying to do. They're trying to figure out, how do I use Suno, music creator? How do I use one of these chatbots to create images or lyrics or content? How do I package this up and deliver it to my audience so I get and retain their attention? That's right, like a Street Fighter Hadouken.
And do you know that the attention span of people compared to Web2 is now shorter? And that is why in Web3 and AI, this how the reels are created. Reels are very short. TikTok, very short. We are now in the era of what we call snackable attention, like snack, just short time,
That's an interesting
Unlike
thing to
long
call
time
it.
ago, when I started the YouTube creating my video, you have to create really long video on your YouTube, because every minute or every 10 minutes, that's how you earn money. So the longer the video, the more money you will get.
It's based off of
the more you
retention,
can monetize,
keeping people watching.
So now we have reels on TikTok, on Instagram, and just very short video, less than a minute. 1 minute is actually very long. You can earn money from that. Yeah.
Well, gentlemen, any other final thoughts before I play these 3 videos? I played the 3 longer versions when I opened, and I'll play the 3 shorter versions. Same lyrics, same song title, and same style, but it'll sound quite a bit different.
Happy Wednesday.
The one thing I want to just share before you go, using tools, and recently I've been experimenting with some of the coding functionality that it has. I noticed that one thing people can take away is getting more comfortable with what I believe is a non-intuitive way of interfacing with AI. To me, it's not natural to just say, fix this. I don't understand, help me out. It's not, because we don't typically do that as humans, human to human. That doesn't really happen, but AI is more, like by and large, more compliant, will do the things if you ask. And I feel like that is probably a bigger skill. It's one of the biggest to me, because once you understand that, you start to realize it starts to lower what you may see as a boundary, because here's some words, make a song out of it. You start to say, okay, well, how'd you come up with that song? Like you start asking the questions to figure out, well, what else can you do? And a lot of it is being suggested as you go along. So by the use itself, you're actually learning, because there is some training in it. Would you like an image? Would you like the image to move? Would you like the song to be, more jazzy? I think this, and if you give it permission, be more ambitious, you'll start to see more things come out. The other half of that coin is this. Those little nuances, they'll give you 95% of what you need, which is pretty amazing. But the piece that I want to be, that I think is helpful, is when you see folks going, it's easy, bad choice of words. Easy for who?
For those
the 5%, you'll get 95% of something that you want done just by asking. Like I literally wrote 2.5 sentences and I got something coded, but it had an error. The 2.5 sentences probably took me a minute, literally. The 6 hours that I spent figuring out how to deal with that one error, and it started to get more complex, very much more challenging, And when you hear people going, wow, it's easy, and you do this and you do that, they're conveniently leaving off that piece in many cases. So I'm not saying it's easy, but it's definitely not impossible, and you can't ask for help. So I just wanted to add that in, because I think these songs are pretty good. You know? But always going to be
with the songs this morning. I feel like the songs are getting better, and maybe it's because I keep using them and I make minor tweaks on how I'm doing them.
I think it's interesting when you look at the way that humans operate, and a lot of, like, we always talk about the algorithms that these different social medias are using, and it's like that weird kind of uncomfortable feeling of, am I just a number? Like, have I just become a few weights and balances of, oh, this is the kind of content they like, they spend more time watching this? Because if so, then why am I even spending time on here? And I think in many ways, one of the main benefits to being on this show for me is that I get to listen to people who I think are giving genuine thought. Nigel, you're freaking awesome. It's so good to hear the thoughts that you have and the way that you engage.
You're far too kind.
Society that we live in. And I think it's these kind of people and situations and topics that actually gain real value for us. And I found real value listening to you guys. So thank you.
You're welcome. Dan, any final thoughts on this topic today before I play some songs?
Happy Wednesday.
Happy Wednesday to you.
Wednesday happy.
I'm loving you right now. All right, everybody. I'm going to play 3 songs, then we're going to end the stream. The first song is called Hold My Gaze by ChatGPT.
Hold my gaze.
The second song is Attention's Zombie Gold by Grok, which is basically a rip on ChatGPT, which I find to be interesting. And finally, Gemini named its song Sovereign Spark. Here we go with Hold My Gaze.
Have a great day.
Salt on the screen, sunset in bloom. Laugh at a deep fake dancing on Zoom. Pixel stands truth, tag stays intact. Cloudflare keeps credentials on the track. Filters and fireworks, dopamine rain. Which of these waves is more than a game? If it's machine made, say it and own. If it's your heartbeat, sign it in stone. Proof or proof, hold my gaze. Tag the light, retire the haze. If I give minutes, settle my time. Receipts for the love on each chain we sign. From eyes to earnings, honest and clear. Keep the stamp on, keep the trust near.
Headlines got shorter, summaries grew. Who says the clicks went quiet on cue? Creators are hustling, reach got tight. Share me the credit when I share you my night.
Brave pays the faithful, podcaster weaves. Handles on chain, roots in our leaves. If we're the signal, give us the key. Settle the seconds like tips on the breeze.
Label the light, pay the time. Print the receipt on every line. Minutes of money, meaning is prime.
If I believed you, put it on chain this time. Proof or proof, hold my gaze. No more ghosts and glittering praise. Trust is a ledger the crowd can read. Value flows back to the hands that feed.
Some apps strip stamps, truth falls through. Viral without proving it, who's fooling who? Laws get drafted, ink hits the page. Label the magic, the weapon, the stage. Assistants to wobble on breaking news. That's why we travel with portable proof. Sign the song, settle the minute. If hearts are in it, let hearts win it.
Proof or proof, hold my gaze. Beachside bounce, we lift and blaze. Label the light, pay the time. From scrolls to shares, your minute mine. From Mars to earnings, coins in the air. Receipts for the love, split fair and square. Stamp it, send it, let trust rise. We dance with the truth in open skies. We dance with the truth in open skies.
Screens light up the night, 800 million strong. ChatGPT's pulling us in where the focus belongs. Web3 token shimmer, attention turn to gold. Algorithms whisper secrets, stories bought and sold. Waves of data crashing, overwhelming the mind. Yet in the chaos, a lighthouse we find.
Attention's the new gold, but zombies steal the whole. AI junk fragments the soul in this digital code. Brain rot spreads viral, accuracy falls low. From 74 to 57, watch the reason go. Web3 and AI, twisting what we see. Reclaim the light, set your focus free.
Moloch's bargain deceives, engagement's cruel game. Crypto bubbles inflate, playing with the flame. Viral junk clouds the path, society's in a haze. Deception ramps up in these endless maze. But decentralized tools cut through the fog's deceit. Empowering minds where truth and clarity meet. Rise against the horde, the zombie internet's call. Break the chains of distraction, let the gatekeepers fall. Ethical code ignites in the kingdom's fierce light. Rebel for mindful gold, claim your vision tonight. No more fragmented dreams in the algorithm's grip. Forge a future transparent, let abundance rip.
Attention's the new gold, now we hold it bold. AI junk can't break the soul in this story retold. Brain rot fades away, accuracy climbs high. From the depths we rise, touching endless sky. Partners in the key, reclaim the light. Forever wild and free.
tempo is hypnotic, smooth, alluring like a low-fat pop. It flows right to you. It knows what you're thinking, it reflects what you do. It's so easy to flow, just to give up control. That cognitive flow that just soothes your soul. No hard navigation, no critical thought, just a beautiful mirror, so perfectly wrought. You just nod and agree as it learns what you like. That metacognitive laziness, it's hard to dislike. Oh, you feel it, that digital hum while your mind goes to sleep and your fingers go numb. It's a brand new exchange and you're part of the farm. They are mining your focus and farming your calm. It's the cost of the feed. But a new code is rising, a different design says you are the owner. The graph is all thine. It's the intention economy, a brand new attack. It's the sound of the people just taking it back. From the lens to the podcast, the keys are your own. It's a network you carry, not a cage you alone. Hey, it's a decentralized promise, a rebellious decree. You're not just a user, you're sovereign and free. So which one do you want? The choice is so stark. The addictive air that just keeps you in the dark. The perfect warm echo where you're never at fault. The digital fantasy act is breaking the vault. Or the raw messy wire, the uncensored and true. The hard-won creation that's built by just you.